Justin Fields is going to be starting for the Chicago Bears. Is that the right decision to make? Doc Rivers came on First Take yesterday and said, damn it, Ben Simmons ain't going anywhere. We ain't trying to move him. But Ben Simmons is saying, oh, hell no. I'm up out of here. Get me the hell up out of here. So what's Philly going to do now? We got all of that to talk about. Plus Thursday night football and then some. Oh, by the way, there's still professional athletes out there who don't want to get vaccinated, even though it prohibits them from playing home games during an NBA season. Oh, I got a lot of stuff on my mind. And Dan Orlovsky is here because it's Thursday. He's the next victim. Roll the tape. You know what time for First Takes in the house.
Welcome into First Take. Are you not hyped after that little montage in the Stephen A. Tease? Dan Orlovsky on your screen. Dan, always good to see you, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
I love the highlight, love the artist, the rock music. I mean,
what? That was a sick matchup.
That's a sick matchup.
No. The J Balvin was the sick part.
I'm just saying, for you, for me, I'm a product of the hip hop generation. I'm in R&B.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
But I did like it.
I'm here for a little reggaeton.
I did like it.
The Colombianas. Okay, guys. Friday Eve, let's go. Bears fans, your wish has been granted. The time has come for Justin Fields to get his first career start as an NFL quarterback, with Andy Dalton expected to be with a left knee injury. Coach Matt Nagy said Fields will be under center for the Bears game Sunday against the Browns. Nick Foles will serve as the backup to Fields, who is 6 of 13 for 60 yards with an interception and ran for 31 yards on 10 carries, and played for Dalton in last Sunday's win against the Bengals. Here's more from Coach Nagy and Justin Fields.
When Andy is healthy, he's our starter. And then I go back to, for Justin, Justin's worrying about right now. And Justin's worried about trying to help us beat Cleveland. I've talked about it this entire time that we're not going to get into that what-if game. I don't really want to go there other than just saying that when Andy is healthy, he's our starter.
If you told me, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, that I'd be in this position, I probably wouldn't believe you. But, I think as time went along, I just got more comfortable and kind of, I guess my goals kind of, got bigger and bigger. And then, of course, I'm here. So, of course, around this time last year, I was, of course, had an idea that, I could be in this position right now. So actually seeing myself in this position and being able to get the start on Sunday, it's amazing.
Dan, no one evaluates quarterbacks better than you. Tell me this. Should they be starting Fields?
Absolutely. Justin Fields should have been starting from week one. Simply put, Molly, this offense has the chance to be better with Justin Fields than it does Andy Dalton. And that's my thing. Is Andy Dalton a better quarterback right now than Justin Fields? Maybe because of his experience. But what quarterback gives the offense the chance to be better? And that's Justin Fields. And if you watch this team offensively through 2 weeks, one, the scheme has actually been better than I had anticipated. Two, the offensive line has not been nearly as disastrous as we thought. And then going back to when Justin Fields played last week, I thought he played really well. Dropped a touchdown pass from Allen Robinson, a couple misses to Mooney that just go off his fingertips. And I watched a young man that we had heard out of Chicago multiple times over the past couple weeks. People say, well, he's not ready. He's not ready. He's not ready. And I'm watching the tape going, what tells me he's not ready? He's incredibly athletic. He escapes on 3rd and 9. He rips away from a defensive end that's 260 pounds. Andy Dalton can't do that for this offense. He's got 3 misses away, dropped passes away from being 10 of 13 as a passer. I think this is a no-brainer, and there's ways that Matt Nagy can handle this offense on Sunday that we will see a Bears offense that we have not seen since he became their head coach.
Okay, you already lost the argument before I even got started with the last point that you made about Matt Nagy. You got to be giving me a break. First of all, don't let me pull up tapes of you on NFL Live and other places talking about Matt Nagy. You haven't been his biggest fan, so let's stop that right there. Don't all of a sudden act like, oh my goodness,
but that's why my first point.
Excuse me, Zip it. It's my turn now. It's my turn, Dan Orlovsky. UConn Husky. Fall back.
Wow.
That's right.
You fall
back right now, Dan Orlovsky.
Okay.
You are not the biggest Matt Nagy fan, okay? So let's get that out of the way first. Secondly, let's not be disingenuous to the American public here. As far as I'm concerned, the global public, because we're watched everywhere. Here's the reality of the situation, Dan Orlovsky. We're not talking about whether or not Justin Fields should be the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. We all know this is an inevitability. This is something that's going to happen, whether Andy Dalton is healthy or not. Okay. At the very latest, by week 6, we can't see somebody other than Justin Fields starting for this franchise. The question really is about, should this dude be starting this week against Myles Garrett, against Jadeveon Clowney, these are the kind of things that I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about Justin Fields. My position has always been start him after week 4. You let him get his bearings under him. You get your offensive line together. I'll give it to you. They haven't been nearly as awful as predicted. They came into the season, a lot of people had expectations about them to be pretty porous, and that hasn't been the case. They've got the 8th ranked rushing attack, so clearly they know how to run block. Now they're 31st against the pass, but that's really about who's your quarterback and potentially who's your play caller. Nevertheless, when you've got all of those question marks right there, and you're going up against Cleveland in his first start, that's my trepidation, Dan Orlovsky. I'm just simply saying, can we get through Cleveland and then hand him the reins for his first job going up against the Detroit Lions the following week? I like those prospects rather than throwing him into the Lions' den against the Cleveland Browns this Sunday. That's all I'm saying, Dan. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, first of all, let's be very careful how we talk about our Lions, my Lions specifically. We don't got to denigrate them on national. Yeah, we ain't got to take shots. We ain't got to take shots at the Lions.
Don't take the shade at the Motor City.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you on the understand. I have not been a big fan with Matt Nagy in relation to how he handled Mitchell Trubisky. I'll go on national television right now and tell you that if Matt Nagy takes kind of the Baltimore offense, the Eagles offense, and the Green Bay offense, and he puts them all together and he makes a baby, I'll be on national television on Monday singing his praises. I will come on and say,
making me laugh.
But that's what he's got to do, Stephen A.
So in other words, something he's never done. Suddenly he's going to do week 1 with Justin Fields as his quarterback. Week 1?
He's going to watch First Take on Thursday, and he's going to see that's what he has to do, and he's going to do it. But here's my thing. You talk about can we not do it against the Browns? Stephen A., the next 5 games, he's got to play Pittsburgh. He's got to play San Francisco. He's got to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, at some point, we got to take the little kid pants on and put on the big boy pants.
Yeah, but you
started the NFL.
Excuse me. Did you walk before you crawled? No, you crawled before you walk. And what I'm trying to say is that the Detroit Lions are crawling, okay? The Cleveland Browns, that's damn near sprint for crying out loud. I'm looking at Cleveland. And then after Cleveland, you got Detroit, okay? Then after that, you got a road game against the Raiders. You got a home game against the Packers. You got a road game against Tampa Bay. All I'm trying to say is that, listen, fine, because guess what? If you're going up against Detroit, you can get the confidence necessary. That's my thing. What is Nick Foles there for? What is the reason? What is the purpose for him being there for? You're paying him, ain't he? Ain't he a Super Bowl champion?
Because you can't move his contract.
I understand that. But listen, he's not a scrub. He's no different than Andy Dalton. And as far as I'm concerned, if you were willing to put Andy Dalton in the lineup, you should be willing to put Foles in the lineup. What's wrong with that thinking?
I'll ask you this. In your opinion, this week against the Cleveland Browns, who gives the Bears the best chance to win the football game? Take we don't want to put somebody into this team. Who gives the Bears the best chance to win the game? Justin Fields or Nick Foles?
Wow. You know what? I can honestly sit up there and say to you, it might be Foles. It might. What? I don't know. But let me tell you why. Because if I'm Justin Fields, I got to rely on 2 things. His accuracy as a thrower, which obviously in fairness to him, he hasn't had an opportunity to really show us yet because last week was not the greatest litmus test in the world once Andy Dalton went down, and we understand that. But I have to combine that with Matt Nagy. And what I'm thinking about with Nagy, Foles has been there longer. There's a level of chemistry he does have with that particular coach. He does know the offense. He is a veteran. Does he have the ability of Justin Fields? Hell no. Can he scramble like Justin Fields? Hell no. But if one thing we could say about Nick Foles, we can say this. He does come in under adverse circumstances and delivers then. The problem is he's got what I call a Fitzpatrick syndrome. When you rely on him long term, he's not your dude. But if you need him in a clutch moment, he can deliver for you for a game or 2 or 4. Nick Foles has shown he can do that. I have no problem with it.
I don't think it's even close. Justin Fields gives you a significantly better chance to win this football game than Nick Foles. His ability to throw the ball downfield
A potential NFC Championship preview at 4:25 Eastern on Sunday. Antonio Brown placed on the reserve COVID-19 list after testing positive for the virus, putting his Week 3 status against the Rams in jeopardy. He's the third player, along with inside linebacker special teams captain Kevin Minter and a practice squad wide receiver who are also on this list. Now, you could argue the worst game of Tom Brady's career in a Bucs uniform was Week 11 against LA last season. Here's Bruce Arians and Rob Gronkowski on the Los Angeles Rams.
Coach, so far this season, are the Rams the most complete team we've seen on both sides of the ball?
I would say so far, and they don't have a glaring weakness anywhere. Kicking game's excellent, offense, defense. So for us, it's the travel, it's the short week, and getting used to a regular season week, and a heck of a challenge.
Sometimes you go to a game and there's just no hype to the game, and then there's games where there's a lot of hype, and this is one of those games that's going to be a lot of hype.
Dan, are the Rams the biggest roadblock to the Bucs running it back?
They are now, and that was not the case 3 weeks ago because I felt it was the Washington football team, but their defense hasn't played good enough, and their quarterback got hurt. The way the Rams look are very much so kryptonite to Tom Brady in this offense. They play a ton of zone coverage, meaning that they're not going to give the ability to get those one-on-one matchups on a consistent basis where Brady can kind of be protected in the pocket, and it's almost like recess. My guy better than your guy, and I'm going to pick him and throw the ball to him. So the zone coverage forces them to play a little bit in style that they don't want to. They can get after Tom Brady, Aaron Donald, Floyd. Like, they got good pass rushers still that they don't have to commit a bunch of blitzing bodies to try to kind of rattle Tom Brady. They can play that zone coverage. And then the opposite side of the ball, Mal. Like, I've been trying to tell everybody since the moment it happened. Aaron Donald is phenomenal, and this defense is lights out. I've been trying to tell everybody since the moment Matthew Stafford went to LA, we are going to see explosion on offense. And you're talking about a head coach in Sean McVay that is just sitting there going, how much fun can I have? I can go after this defense. And Tampa Bay's defense right now is not playing good. That secondary is not playing good. They're giving up completions like it's Oprah. You get a completion, you get a completion, you get a completion. And it's not a good defense right now. They ain't getting after the quarterback. And you're talking about a head coach and a quarterback that are two of the best. Cooper Kupp is playing unbelievable football. If we're having a conversation of best duos in the NFL right now, Stafford and Cooper Kupp need to be in it. So just because of all those variables that they got, and I'd say the last thing that I think, Molly, matters in here is that number 9, that quarterback, he's a killer. He's an assassin, man. He don't care who's across the sideline. His goal is to go out every single week and prove he's the baddest dude on the field. And he finally has a team that's going to allow it. And I know you laughing, Stephen A. I know you're laughing, but you're starting to see it.
Let me say something to you. First of all, you are funny. I give you credit where credit's due, making me laugh this early in the morning. It's really, really funny. Number one, first of all, don't ever associate the word good with Aaron Donald. It's nothing short of greatness. It's nothing short. Now, I know you corrected yourself a little later in your soliloquy, but you started off by saying good rushes. No, you're talking about the creme de la creme, the elite, the dude, that is Aaron Donald, okay? Watch your mouth, okay? Be very careful to use superlatives when it comes to him. He's that phenomenal. That's number one. Number two, I would like to say this to you. I get where you're coming from about the Rams. Stafford's a stud. I like him. So completed 69% of his passes, 5 touchdowns, just 1 interception thus far. He's lived up to his billing. He's certainly no Jared Goff. We see why they traded Goff and a couple of first-round picks along with a conditional pick to get him, because that's who Stafford is, and we understand that. Okay, this defense is not what it was last year, at least thus far, Dan Orlovsky. They're like 11th against the pass, 20th against the rush. That's not what we saw from the Los Angeles Rams last year. Let's just keep that in mind. And in light of that reality, combined with the Chiefs losing to the Ravens last week, which elevates their level of motivation, understanding that Tom Brady and them are trying to repeat and what have you, and Patrick Mahomes being that dude. I don't give a damn what you say about Matthew Stafford. He ain't Patrick Mahomes. I don't give a damn what you say about Cooper Kupp. He ain't Tyreek Hill. I don't give a damn what you say about anybody else. They ain't Travis Kelce. Let's understand and put things in its proper perspective. And don't try to jinx what we all looking for, which is a rematch of Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl at SoFi. We don't give a damn. We ain't looking for no Cowboys. We ain't looking for Mac Jones and the New England Patriots. I mean, it would be nice to see Lamar Jackson, but hell, we ain't thinking about that either. We want a rematch because The Patrick Mahomes that's expected to show up in the Super Bowl next year ain't gonna have a messed up toe. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
Travis Kelce ain't gonna drop passes. I spoke to that brother. He ain't gonna drop passes again. He'll be ready. We know what a stud Tyreek Hill is. He ain't gonna be neutralized that way. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he ain't gonna fumble like he did, all right, last week, okay, with over a minute left. These things are not gonna happen. And Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, is back, and we know that elevates their secondary exponentially. So when we look at the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm not sneezing at the Rams because you got to get through the NFC to get to the Super Bowl, and I understand how formidable the Rams are. But if we got to pick a team that's the number one threat to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers repeating, don't tell me you got the Rams ahead of the Chiefs. That's just blasphemous. That's just blasphemous.
I was talking about like chances to get back. I'm just looking at my conference. Overall with the league, I'm probably with you on the Chiefs. Now, their run defense got to get a little bit better. Their run defense.
But I'm looking at defense got to get better.
What? Whose defense got to get better?
I said Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, they got to get better.
Yeah, but it ain't as bad as the Chiefs' defense right now. I'm saying in conference, if I had to pick a team in the NFC after 2 weeks that I think can hold Tampa Bay from getting back and out to L.A., I think it's the Rams after 2 weeks, yes.
Okay. Couple of things before we go to break. Tom Brady had a 48 QBR last time he played this team. We have great sound from Alex Guerrero, his trainer, and his father that we need to play later. We'll do that. And by the way, speaking of Tom, today's the 20th anniversary of the Mo Lewis hit on Drew Bledsoe that gave Brady his shot that changed Brady's life in the course of the NFL. That was back in 2001. Could be Fields' turn. Coming up, guys, yesterday, Stephen A. finally admitted Big Ben, maybe D-O-N-E. He wants Cam in a Steelers jersey ASAP. DeLuis, Riddick, and Dan Orlovsky agree. Plus, McCaffrey and Darnold, a surprise 2-0. Teddy and the Broncos, another surprise 2-0. Which of those two teams is legit and which is a fraud? Stay here. It's First Take.
This is why I love coming on, because I can absolutely stomp on your arguments.
With all due respect, Dan Orlovsky, that is an absolutely unacceptable explanation.
That is as black and white as it needs to be.
I don't like your analysis at all.
I want Herbert and Allen over Brady and AB, yes.
What's wrong with you?
I already got a long day. I know I got a long day with you.
Oh, y'all done started something. Y'all done started something. And with Cam Newton right now. Ben Roethlisberger is not healthy. And at his age, he is just a stationary type. He's a statue. He's a statue, as Swagoo Marcus Spears pointed out yesterday. He can't move. And so when you look at it from that perspective, desperate times call for desperate measures. We all know that he got beat out by Mac Jones. Let's just call it what it is. We all know how I've lamented the accuracy. I've lamented nothing else about Cam Newton. But the accuracy is an issue, no doubt about it. Okay, and I'm not even bringing in COVID into the situation in case he's unvaccinated, because that's a different subject for another time. But I will tell you this, strictly from a football perspective, when Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins are your options, you go get Cam Newton right now, guys. You go get Cam Newton right now. He can move. He can run with the football. He can extend a play. I mean, listen, that's what you need right now. I'm not saying I like it, Dan Orlovsky, but I'm saying the situation in Pittsburgh is so dire. I'm not averse to going and getting Cam Newton right now.
Yeah, you don't go get Cam because it doesn't make you a playoff offense. No quarterback is going to make this offense a playoff offense. They will, no matter who's playing, they are going to be incredibly dependent on how great the defense is given that game. The offensive line is terrible, and anybody that is surprised by that was not paying attention through this whole offseason when everyone was saying, you got to get better offensive linemen. When they drafted Najee Harris, who's going to be a really good player, you should have taken an offensive lineman. At some point, the Steelers got to look to the future, Stephen A. At some point, the Steelers got to be 21 about it, and Mike Tomlin, who's as great a head coach as there is in the NFL, has got to look at this and be honest about his football team. The quarterback bringing in Cam Newton does not make this a different offense. If Ben Roethlisberger is not healthy enough to play for 1 week or multiple weeks, play Dwayne Haskins. This kid is an ex-first-round talent who really didn't work out in Washington, a lot because of what was the outside variables, but also because he liked being in the NFL more than playing in the NFL. Your option is play Dwayne Haskins, see if he's realized this is his last opportunity. but it's always going to be about how great can the defense play, and is our offensive line going to play bad or atrocious?
Yeah, Haskins
Go ahead,
1-5 last
Yeah,
season,
you know-
3-10 in his career.
Go ahead, Lewis.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with Dan in this one. I don't know that Cam really can make a difference on this team. I just don't. I don't see where he has something that is going to continue to keep afloat the hopes and aspirations of this organization from a playoff berth type of perspective. And look, if Ben is healthy, obviously they're always going to have that hope. They're always going to have that, in the back of their mind that they can still contend for a playoff berth because he's Ben Roethlisberger, because he's been there for so long, because he knows this system, he knows these players, he's their leader, he's a surefire Hall of Famer. I don't believe that Cam necessarily continues that. And I think Cam would just be so far behind the eight ball that I just don't think this offense in any way can expand in such a way that he would be able to elevate them in any way, especially given the limitations that they have on the offensive line. It's a limited offense right now, and they are going to need to rebuild this, and they are going to have to look to the future. And I think Mike is already doing that with the signing of Dwayne Haskins. I do believe they need to find out. And you know what better time to find out what exactly you have, although Steelers fans aren't going to want to hear this.
I don't want to hear
look at any season as being a throwaway season. I know you don't. But you know what?
It's too early for
I
that.
also don't believe that Dwayne Haskins is just a throwaway. I don't believe that, and I don't believe Mike Tomlin believes that. This is just a bad season for them.
Take it from a Giants
It is.
fan.
It's a bad season
over.
for them.
See, this is the problem. First of all, they're 1-1. They're not 0-2 like the Giants. And secondly, and more importantly, I'm about to sit up here and give my man Lee Fitting, who oversees the football coverage for ESPN, with these astute, exceptional NFL analysts that we bring on our show, and then Louis Riddick, the voice of Monday Night Football, utters that stuff. Now, this is the man that should have been the GM of the New York Giants. How you feeling about that right now, New York Giants?
Well, he's actually objective, unlike you.
So we win.
Coming from his head, not his heart.
And he was doing exceptionally well until that take about my Steelers. Exceptionally well.
Stephen
Until
A.
Stephen A. It's about
Stephen A.
than you do with Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins. Come on.
Where's my list? Have you seen this
But
injury
I think,
list?
look,
Have you seen
Give it to
this?
me.
Have you seen the
Give it to me,
names?
Molly.
There's
There's
9
just so
big
many-
names on there. Oh my goodness.
No, I don't wanna look at it.
Touchdown, hoping to shut down Davis Mills and the Texans and move to a perfect 3-0 Mills. The third-round pick out of Stanford steps in for Tyrod Taylor, who's out with a hammy. Carolina has had solid quarterback play from Darnold. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is a beast, and their defense is for real. Let's take a look here at some undefeated teams through the season's first 2 weeks. These squads have a couple notable similarities, one being they all missed the postseason during the 2020 season. Always parity in the NFL. Louis Riddick joining us now. Dan obviously is still here. Stephen A., what surprise 2-0 team are you buying the most?
I'm buying the Carolina Panthers. I really am. Now, don't get me wrong. Let me pump the brakes just a touch because Mr. Chippendales is in the house. He's blessing us with his presence because he's wreaking havoc on Monday Night Football.
Why do you always hate on him? I think Louis looks clean.
He always got the collar open, trying to look like the Mac Daddy, the whole bit.
You?
But he's earned it. He's got a beautiful family, of course. And by the way, he's doing phenomenal job on Monday Night Football. Love listening to you. But here's the deal. Okay? The Carolina Panthers, I will bow down to this. They did play the Jets, week 1, and we know how anemic their offense has been.
Yeah.
We were all shocked at what they did to New Orleans based on what we saw against what New Orleans did against Green Bay. Mm-hmm. The Carolina Panthers have the number 1 defense against the run, against the pass, in yards allowed, in points allowed. They're number 1 across the board. And oh, by the way, they got 10 sacks in the first 2 games. 10, okay? So I'm looking at them, and I'm saying, damn, Sam Darnold, he completed about 66, 68% of his passes. I'm looking at DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. They could play. And how many times do I have to say? And put the 3 of us up on the screen, please, because I want to look at Louis Riddick and Dan Orlovsky when I say this, because I've said this about Christian McCaffrey before, and I'm going to say it again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's damn near reverse discrimination. If this brother were black, we'd be talking about him more. I mean, this dude is special.
Yeah.
Special, okay? Running the football, catching the football out of the backfield. We know what he did coming out of college at Stanford. Christian McCaffrey is a special dude. And the combination of all of that stuff, I'm looking at them, I'm saying, wait a minute. This is an upgrade. We love what Teddy Bridgewater is doing in Denver. He didn't look like that in Carolina. They didn't have anybody else that looked like that in recent memory in Carolina. I'm looking at Sam Darnold right now. Looks like a damn good, decent quarterback. And Matt Rule just seems to know what buttons to push. The man seems to know what the hell he's doing. Now, it's still early. But when we talk about a team that I'm buying, I'm looking at you and you got defense. You can run the football, or at least you have somebody out of the backfield that is a playmaker. Okay, you got some of the wideouts outside the numbers that can do some things. And you got a coach that knows what the hell he's doing. I like it. Carolina's my choice right now, guys, in terms of the surprise 2-0 team I'm buying the most.
I'm going with the Denver Broncos. Go ahead, Lewis.
Yeah. I was just going to say, look, I don't disagree with you, Stephen A. I agree that right now Carolina has looked very good. And you could tell, like, when I was down in the Senior Bowl with Matt Rule last year, you could tell this is a special dude. He's a special dude as far as a leader is concerned. And he's special in this regard. Forget the X and O part. Just the ability to communicate and get the best out of his players and really connect with them and teach them. He's special. But I'm going to disagree with this. I'm going to disagree on which one is I'm buying the most. And look, some people are going to say I'm a homer. I'm going to say this, though. What's going on in Vegas, what's going on with the Raiders right now is special. I think this is different. I think this, in year 4, is their time now. Now is their time. And I think for one reason primarily to begin with, and then it will filter from there. And that's because of this. This truly, no matter what we try to make it out to be as far as the relationship between John Gruden and Derek Carr, I can tell you this relationship is rock solid, and Derek is the future in Las Vegas. And there are going to be many people who believe John's always just looking for the next quarterback, and or Derek isn't that guy. He's not as good as Patrick. He's not as good as Aaron. He's not as good as Matthew Stafford or Russell Wilson or whoever it is. I can tell you this, though. This guy right now is in contention for MVP in the league after 2 weeks, if you want to start having that conversation. Why? Because he understands exactly what this offense is supposed to look like through the eyes of John Gruden. He has been given free reign at the line of scrimmage to do what he needs to do, like the best quarterbacks in the NFL are given. And this defense under Gus Bradley this year, they have built it front to back. Now the pass rush really does have some people who can actually get there. Max Crosby is having a career year. Yannick Ngakoue is going to have a career year. Denzel Perryman and KJ Wright bring in the experience in this defense to tie it all together. I'm telling you, look out for the Vegas Raiders now. Look out for them. And look out for Derek Carr in that MVP conversation.
Yeah, Lewis, I agree with that. Stephen A., in regards to the Panthers and Sam Darnold, it's weird because I was told by everybody he sucked, and he doesn't seem to suck anymore. The Raiders, I love. I'm taking the Denver Broncos. The moment they traded for Teddy Bridgewater, I thought, that's a playoff football team with Teddy Bridgewater. And we're talking about the Raiders having a good defense. We're talking about the Carolina Panthers having a good defense. Teddy Bridgewater's balling right now. He's always been this type of player. And Lewis, you noticed that has been incredibly smart. We've always thought Teddy Bridgewater was this really intelligent player. He's going to go to the right place with the football, but he was physically limited. And for my opinion, the physical has caught up to the mental. You're watching Teddy move around like a big-time athlete. You're watching him push the football downfield with explosion with their pieces. Noah Fant is a big-time player. Cortland Sutton is a big-time. Hamler's a great player. Wait till Jerry Jeudy gets back. So I think there's as diverse as an offense. Pat Shurmur gets a lot of bad rap because of his time as a head coach. He's one of the top play callers in the NFL right now. And they're doing so much motion and so much play action and so much college concept stuff. This offense is very difficult to handle now that Teddy's physical talent has gone through the roof. But their defense, as good as I love Carolina's defense, dude, their defense is so good. Patrick Surtain has become an elite player for their defense. They will hit you. They're fast. They can play man coverage. They can get after you. And Lewis, I'd love to get your opinion on it because, like, for me, that's the difference between the Broncos defense and the Raiders defense is when you need to play man, because at some points you do, I feel like they can do it, and I don't really believe that the Raiders are there yet.
Okay, hold on. Before Lewis chimes in, let me jump on to both of y'all before he answers this question. You football aficionados and stuff like that. And it's legit because y'all are, and I give that to y'all, but that doesn't mean I can't get on y'all, the reporter extraordinaire that I am. First of all, I never said Sam Darnold sucked. I said that about Adam Gase. Let's be clear,
I
Dan
never said you
Orlovsky,
said
and
that,
I
Stephen
stand
A.
by that. So you on this show enough to know you never heard me say that about
never
Sam
said
Darnold.
that.
I said Adam Gase, who showed up to his press conference high, as far as I'm concerned. Just an opinion. I don't know for a fact, but damn it, he looked high, okay? That's why he out of a damn job now, because the Jets played like they were high under his stewardship. Now let's get to you, Louis Riddick. You bring up the Raiders. I'm going to ignore the MVP conversation about Mr. 61 QBR that is Derek Carr. I'm just going to ignore that for a moment. I'm going to ignore that for a moment, okay? I'm going to ignore that for a moment. When you look at the Raiders right now, we can't take into consideration that week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens, you're decimated at the running back spot because all your running backs came down with ACL injuries. I know you had Latavius Murray who scored a touchdown in that game, but nevertheless, he had just arrived here 3 days earlier. And then last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, don't get me started with the offensive line, can't block it. They couldn't block us, okay, right now. That's how bad the offensive line is, okay?
That's your squad, though.
I'm just saying, and I'm very hurt by saying that, but I'm real. I'm not happy with what I'm seeing from the offensive line. They can't run block. They can't protect the quarterback, okay? And, oh, by the way, you had T.J. Watt go down with his groin injury, Highsmith as well. So we just going to ignore that about the Raiders? We just going to ignore that, Lewis?
No, we're not going to ignore it. We're not going to ignore it, but in the same vein, look. I mean, who did Carolina beat? Carolina beat the Jets, whatever, and then Carolina beat New Orleans, who were missing half of their coaching staff. Okay,
so what? The players were there.
I mean,
no,
so what?
Defense.
But you picked
a lot
them.
of defensive players
But
too.
you picked them. But hey, you know what? And let me just say this. I'm a believer in Carolina, and I will say this about Sam too. Look, I'm with Dan on this. I believe. Look, you know how much I believe surroundings help dictate player performance.
Okay.
You know how much I believe surroundings help dictate performance. Period. Across any industry.
Yeah.
Any. And this is an indictment on the previous regime of the Jets. There is no question about that. This is an indictment on them. Not Sam, on them.
I agree.
Also, it brings some shine to what's going on down there in Carolina and how they have built this football team. Look, 2 years ago when they spent all those draft picks on that defense, over the past 2 years, the draft picks that they have spent on defense, they are all balling. No question. I can't wait to see them play a higher level of competition because I think they're for real. No doubt.
Three guys,
Don't
three different
discount my Raiders.
answers. Let me just say this, though. I'm looking at the schedule. The Dolphins are at Raiders, no Tua. Broncos host the Chiefs, rookie quarterback Zach Wilson. Panthers and Justin Fields gets his first career NFL start with Andy Dalton expected to be out with a left knee injury. Fields will be under center for the Bears game Sunday against the Browns. Nick Foles will serve as the backup to Fields, who is 6 of 13 for 60 yards, an interception, and ran for 31 yards on 10 carries in place of Dalton in last Sunday's win against the Bengals. Here's more from Coach Nagy.
When Andy is healthy, he's our starter. And then I go back to, for Justin, Justin's worried about right now. And Justin's worried about trying to help us beat Cleveland. I've talked about it this entire time that we're not going to get into that what-if game. I don't really want to go there other than just saying that when Andy is healthy, he's our starter.
Look who joined the party.
Look at the suit. Do you see the suit?
I mean,
with the tie.
It looks very handsome.
Damn.
Well, I mean,
You know,
do we all
and the
got shades of-
cufflinks.
We all the cuff.
And the
I mean, come on, you
look
know.
at this. Biggie.
Do we all got? Do we all got
Can't you
shades of blue on?
Monogram, too.
look,
I mean,
listen.
I'm all black.
Can't
over
hide
here.
money.
You all.
I'm very proud of the way you're looking right now.
Oh, my
and I want to
God.
give you props where it's due. And I want to especially thank you for obeying instructions and not showing up here, looking all raggedy and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Thinking you pimping. Now this is how you dress. Make sure that continues. Let's move. Let's move.
Don't let him talk to you like
Let's-
that.
let's-
How do I move
let's get
on
to
from
this business.
obey
Let's move
instructions and now I've been...
Do you see me stressing about this?
He
You see me
know.
stressing
He know.
that, big
He
boy.
know.
No.
Right.
Listen,
He know, Dan. He
listen,
know.
Don't let him talk to you like that, big
He
boy.
understands.
Don't tell me what to
Dan,
do.
you know
grown.
the deal.
You looking
Yeah,
sharp,
you
though.
grown.
You looking sharp,
I
my brother.
I know.
You
All
looking
right,
sharp.
Damien, you're up first. Let's just quiet him for a minute. How has Nagy handled his rookie quarterback, Justin Fields, thus far?
I just found this whole thing just befuddling to me. I really did. I just think, the one thing about Matt Nagy, he was saying basically, he's not ready. He's not ready to start. He's not ready. Okay? Andy Dalton goes out there, gets hurt. we all know what Andy Dalton is, okay? We've seen the script from him and all that type of stuff. But if your guy is not ready, why isn't Nick Foles out there playing? Why isn't that? I mean, it's not like Nick Foles, hasn't won a Super Bowl. It's not like he's not a champion. It's not like you're not paying him a bunch of money. If you're saying that he's not ready to take the reins of this franchise, quite yet, then why aren't you putting the more seasoned veteran out there if you want to continue with the plan of making sure that you sit Justin Fields so you can continue to bring him along? That's the thing that just upsets me. I look at some of these other situations out here in the National Football League, whether it's, Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson playing in teams that are far worse than what the Chicago Bears are. Remember, Chicago Bears was in the playoffs last year. And you mean to tell me, and I know this is, basically rehashing, you mean to tell me that Justin Fields could have been starting from the beginning on a team that went to the playoffs last year? A team that Justin Fields, a guy who was balling out at Ohio State? But you're saying that he wasn't ready to start at the beginning of the year, but now here it is, Andy Dalton is hurt.
Yeah.
And you're ready to insert him into the lineup instead of Nick Foles, who's still getting paid a bunch of money by the Chicago Bears. To me, it's just a series of moves that I just don't understand from Matt Nagy right now.
I understand it.
That's fair.
I understand it. He might not know what the hell he's doing. How that sound? Sounds simple to me. I mean, hey, it might just be that very simple. Okay, listen, you passed up on Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. Moved up in the draft while passing up on those two to get Mitchell Trubisky. That's how I like to say Mitchell Trubisky. All right, who's now a backup in Buffalo. And you're backing up a 6-year, $258 million man. That's the contract that Josh Allen just signed. If that ain't the epitome of stealing money, because you ain't getting paid for playing football. And you ain't getting paid for playing football, right? You're going to be holding the clipboard. That's what you're going to be doing on Sundays, on occasion there on Thursday night. God forbid they're on Monday night again. This is what it is. This is what we're talking about here. So, again, you've got a guy in Nick Foles. Nick Foles is approaching his 10th year in the National Football League. And he's a Super Bowl champion. And he's been to the playoffs a couple of times within the last 4 years or so. You can't start him for a couple of games? Really? That's Matt Nagy. It's got Matt Nagy written all over it. Okay? And the reason, this is why I say to you, Dan Orlovsky, this is why I say to you, go ahead and put him in. Sit Justin Fields, because let me tell you something. The man, Justin Fields, thus far this year, has thrown an interception. He's completed about 53% of his passes. He's hit like 8 of 15 throws or whatever. And the first time you really give him full action, he got to worry about Myles Garrett on one end and Jadeveon Clowney on another. I don't know if I want to subject him to that, Dan Orlovsky. I just don't.
Wood, I am so disappointed in you right now.
That's right.
The fact that you could come on this show, Stephen A. Show, on television, and honestly think that the best thing for the Bears to do is to play Nick Foles over Justin Fields?
Did you hear anything I said?
You're
Dan
sitting there
Orlovsky?
saying,
Did you hear anything I said?
You said if the plan about a situation,
go ahead.
and you, for the life of you, your words were, for the life of me, I can't understand why they're not putting Nick Foles out there. There's no way. This is blasphemous, erroneous, nutritious, whatever is words you want to think of.
Nutritious? That was where you went next, nutritious.
Whatever word you want to think of that has the ending. Whatever word, dude. There's no way. There's no way that you honestly think Nick Foles gives this team a better chance to play.
I never said that. I never said that.
Then why are you asking? Then why are you asking? Why are you asking? How could you not play Nick Foles? That's what. Why are you asking me that then? That's what I want to know.
Well, here's my question: is if Justin Fields wasn't ready, if Justin Fields wasn't ready week 3. If all of a sudden he's ready now, why wasn't he ready week 1?
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
What's the big difference? To me, that's the central part of what I'm saying here. What's the difference between, okay, we're going to insert him into the starting lineup now as opposed to week 1?
3 weeks.
There's no difference in my opinion.
I'm with you. America, Justin Fields is not ready. No, he is not ready to just go walk out there and be a bona fide rock star starting quarterback. No rookie is. Mac Jones isn't. Patrick Mahomes wasn't. Can they go make some plays? Do they have a skill set that they can go and survive with? Justin Fields does. And you go back and you watch what he did last week, because that's the first time he's had that extended playing time, that he's had to go in a moment, okay, I got to go run the football team rather than sprinkle in for a play or two. He plays well. Did he throw every ball perfectly on time? No. Was he a blink late in some stuff? Yes. That's okay.
Can I take an audible? Because, again, I'm not going to belabor this point anymore for a couple of reasons. Number one, Nick Foles is a Super Bowl champion. I'd rather see him in a game against Cleveland than a rookie. But that's just me. The reason why I really want to move on is because we've mentioned Matt Nagy too many times. They don't want to talk about him in Chicago. Why
Can we talk
we want to talk about him on national television? Can we talk about Tom Brady?
Good. I got
Let's do
something
that,
for you
Dan
on Tom
Orlovsky.
Brady.
Let's do that, okay?
All right.
Okay, let's do that. Check out what Tom Brady's personal trainer Alex Guerrero had to say about the future Hall of Famer's relationship with his former head coach. The interesting thing, I think, there, and this is just me, an outsider looking in, it was like Bill never really, I think his emotions or feelings never evolved with age, Guerrero said. I think in time, with Tom, as Tom got into his late 30s or early 40s, I think Bill was still trying to treat him like that 20-year-old kid that he drafted. He continued by saying, and all the players, I think, realized Tom was different. He's older, so he should be treated differently. And all the players, none of them would have cared that he was treated differently. I think that was such a Bill thing. He never evolved. So you can't treat someone who's in his 40s like they're 20. It doesn't work. Those are all courtesy of the Boston Herald. Wow, strong comments there. And his father also spoke, and his father was saying that Bill Belichick wanted him out and that, you know, he still has a chip on his shoulder because of that, obviously, with the game approaching in early October. I'll start with the former. Your reaction to those comments?
Here's what I'm going to say. Whatever you hear Alex Guerrero or Tom Brady Sr. say, you damn well better believe that Tom Brady signs off on all of that stuff. They're not going to just say things and just throw things out there without it being, you know, without everyone being involved and everyone signing off on it, okay? And what we see up in New England is, you know, during Tom Brady's time, during 20 years, we never saw the relationship evolve. At one point, yeah, Tom Brady, I was there early on where they were still developing Tom, and Tom, you know, we started the dynasty at that point. But as time went on, Tom Brady had accumulated so much status, so many accolades, that the relationship should have went from player to coach to more of a partnership. Because we all know, Molly, and Dan can speak to this, not all players get treated the same. Yeah. That's just the fact. That's just the way sports is. It doesn't, like, you could talk about, like, LeBron doesn't get treated the same as any other guys on the Lakers or any other superstar, whatever superstar you want to point to in any sport. Their relationship is different than the other guys on the team because guess what? They've earned that. Yeah. And what we've seen up in New England during the 20 years is we never saw that partnership that Tom Brady had earned through all the accolades, all the things that all the accomplishments that he won in New England. And I'm just here to tell you, I know the Bucks got the Rams this week, but I'm telling you, you better believe that this is on Tom Brady's mind.
Oh, I can't wait for that game. That's the Super Bowl
for me. Going up to Foxborough
I wish we were going to be there.
And laying the smack down up in New England. Yeah. I can tell you that right now.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, Wood, I want to kind of touch on something you mentioned. So, like 2010 world, I'm down with the Houston Texans. And we got a relatively good veteran team. Andre Johnson was one of those receivers. Our head coach was Gary Kubiak. And we would go outdoor to indoor practice-wise. And Coobs didn't want to practice inside because Andre would really never practice inside. And Woody, you know this because they're surface, right, on the joints. Yep. And a couple of the young players used to get upset about it. Be like, why does Andre get not to practice and whatnot? And Gary Kubiak said, I'll treat you guys all fairly, but not equally.
That's
and
right.
You guys have not earned the right to
first the board that can make plays. And so we have talent everywhere. It's about getting them the ball in space and letting them go.
Patrick Mahomes, it's no secret the Chiefs boast one of the most prolific offenses in the NFL. Unreal. Damien, you're high on that Kansas City triple threat, they tell me, of Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. I don't blame you, but I hear you got a big take.
Yeah, Molly, listen, I've been pondering and thinking about these guys, this triplet, and it harkened back to the triplets of the Dallas Cowboys. can this triplet actually be better than the triplets of the Dallas Cowboys?
What?
Yeah, and I'm going yes, absolutely. Absolutely, this triplet from the Kansas City Chiefs will ultimately be better than the triplets from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, come on over. I know you want to chop it up with me. I know you looking at me crazy. You got Michael Irvin, that's here every Monday. Y'all, chopping up, talking crazy, whatever. But yeah, I've been thinking about this. I've been definitely thinking about this one and what these boys have been doing at the start of their career, Stephen A. At the start of their career. What Patrick Mahomes has done is just special. I mean, you're talking about a league MVP, a Super Bowl champion, the best quarterback in the National Football League. Okay, you're talking about Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the league. This man is basically unguardable. You can line him up as a wide receiver in line. Wherever you put Travis Kelce, you can't guard the man, okay? And then that boy Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is the scariest deep threat that's in the game of football right now. Maybe the scariest skill position guy in the National Football League. Every time you talk about when teams play the Kansas City Chiefs, you know what they're saying? Get deeper than the deepest, because that boy Tyreek Hill looking like Usain Bolt out there on the football field. And we're going to be dealing with this for maybe the next decade plus. Now, I know Travis Kelce is up there in age, but we talking about Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. That's what we got to be talking about for the next decade plus. And you don't think they have an opportunity to be better than the triplets with the Dallas Cowboys? Talk to me. Talk to me, because I'm standing right here. I'm standing right here. I need you to talk to me.
There's a lot of blasphemous things that have been, verbalized on this show over the years. I don't know if I've ever experienced a more blasphemous moment than what you just brought about to me, because you have forced me to come to the defense of the Dallas Cowboys.
I have.
You have forced me to come to the defense of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. We're not going individual talent. We know the cheat is something special. We understand that Michael Irvin is just 11,000 yards, 11,000 receiving yards. Emmitt Smith retired as the all-time leading rusher in NFL history, but that's neither here nor there. The game was different, okay?
Yes, it was.
Here's the bottom line. So we're not going to talk about numbers. We look at the talent that is Patrick Mahomes. We've never seen anything like it. Cheat is special. Travis Kelce, my brother from another mother, is something special. One of the all-time greats at the tight end spot, the best tight end in football at this particular moment in time, as far as I'm concerned. But can they win one more Super Bowl first? I mean, damn, they just got mopped in the Super Bowl.
Okay, they lost.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Troy Aikman is a 3-time Super Bowl champion. Emmitt Smith is a 3-time Super Bowl champion. The playmaker with his messed up afro. You got me defending this brother right here. This man, Michael Irvin, in zoot suits and high afro, talking about that's real estate. I'm sorry, all three are Hall of Famers, 3-time Super Bowl champions in an era where you actually were allowed to play defense. In an era where you didn't have to sit up there and worry about getting thrown out of a game for passing gas. I mean, damn, this is the state of the NFL today. You see Ray Lewis, don't let me get Hall of Famers like Ray Lewis, Derek Brooks, and the crew back up in here to explain to you.
You can get whoever you want.
No, what I'm saying.
Because you get whatever you want.
Wait a minute, damn it. The point that I'm trying to make to you is this. The game has changed. You are a champion. Yeah. You know how soft the game is compared to what it used to be.
So let me ask you a question.
You're just going to bring all
So
that
let me ask you a question.
You just going to do that.
Yeah, so let me ask you a question.
3-time Super Bowl champion.
No, I'm not. No, listen, I'm not disrespecting any of the guys.
Yes,
I am not.
You are disrespecting.
No, I'm just this is what I just think that highly of those boys in Kansas City.
One ring? What?
These dudes, 25 years old, 25, 26 years old.
Wait. Do you got the winner this year?
Say what?
You got a winner this year.
You
don't even have a winner this year.
Yeah.
You don't have a winner this year.
I got the Bucks repeat.
Oh, you got the so do I.
I got the Bucks repeat. But wait a minute.
So not only do you have the Kansas City Chiefs, who just got blown out in the Super Bowl,
right?
You got them coming back again and losing to the Bucks, and you're gonna sit up there and compare them to 3-time Super Super Bowl champion.
Wait a minute, hold on. The last one was the Dallas Cowboys in every Super Bowl. They were in every Super Bowl. I'm saying,
I'm saying Jerry Rice and Steve Young and those boys to take them down. Prime time had to come over to take them down. Prime time had to come over.
Okay.
This is what happened.
Oh, okay, I'm just saying. We're talking about how old is
Dan wants to get in on
Patrick
this.
Mahomes? Like 25, 26 years old.
He's
Like
baby.
you got to deal with that dog for the next decade.
Hey, football's a violent sport. Football's a violent sport. We don't know that.
Dan, get in on
Turn around.
this.
Okay,
I know
let me
Dan,
think.
you might think it's
Don't
nutritious,
block
not
my view.
blasphemous.
Don't
I know you both have, but
Go ahead.
All right, Stephen A. Listen, I shared a locker room with this dude. Now you know what it's like to be around Big Wood talking in these arguments. There's nothing more that I hate doing than talking about the Cowboys in a positive sense. It's the Cowboys. It's the Cowboys still. We're not talking about quarterbacks because Patrick is the most talented.
Right.
The Cowboys basically birthed the triplets. I grew up watching the Cowboys like everybody.
So you being nostalgic. You being nostalgic right now.
Bro,
Is that
those
what-
three
you
dudes-
being
those three dudes were
nostalgic
bad
right
men.
now.
Let him speak. Let him speak.
Wood,
You got to leave.
Wood, I don't know. And I got nothing but love for Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. I don't know if they could go across the middle like Irvin did. I don't know. And take the shots like Mike did. I don't know if they could be physical like Emmett did or be as clutch like Troy Aikman was. Patrick's going to be the better player, but the Cowboys are still, when it comes to triplets, those three dudes are still the standard, and no one has jumped them since.
You got it all up to this is what I'm saying.
Okay,
Listen,
go ahead.
I'm going to give you the last word on this, even though you don't deserve it. I'm going to give it to you.
No, I deserve it.
No, you don't.
Okay.
No, you don't.
Go ahead.
Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
Right there. Let's fix the time.
Yeah.
Fix that
I
time.
know, because it is looking good.
It is
looking good.
I just want,
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Now, here's the deal. My point is, you can't have a three-time a triumvirate, a trio that won 3 chips and sit up there and bring in a team that's got one, just got blown out in the Super Bowl, and that you got losing again. I mean, that don't make any sense.
It does. Wait a minute. Can I tell? Because the story isn't finished yet. We're talking about guys that are in their mid-20s. Think about what these guys have accomplished already. I understand the nostalgia.
We see a lot of guys.
I understand the nostalgia.
This is not basketball. This is football.
Okay.
We see a lot of guys. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dan Orlovsky. We see a lot of guys that look a little bit different 2 years later than they did 2 years earlier in the sport of football. Is that not true?
No, you're right. Yeah, because your body get beat up so much, for sure. I'd
All
say
right,
this.
Okay.
Come to me then.
Okay.
Wood, I'm with you. I love those three dudes.
Back years. And we're going to pick them again. Michael Irvin.
What you talking about? What you talking about?
Oh,
What
you
talking
heard?
about?
No, you heard what I'm talking about.
Gentlemen,
I
you
just
know
laid it out
what?
there.
I'm done with this conversation. That was very entertaining, but I will be revisiting this with Michael Irvin again on Monday. See what he has to say about what was just spoken about those triplets.
What are you going to hide?
That's why I said the Cowboys.
Hold on.
I'm scared
Let
of
me tell you
Michael.
something.
Yeah,
Let me tell you something right now.
Bump, but I'll wait for you.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
Okay.
The one thing that I do you see this big body? Do you think this big body can hide anywhere?
Man, we ain't scared
I'm not hiding from you, the playmaker, or anybody.
Look, Biggie.
I will say whatever I gotta say.
Look, Biggie, we ain't hiding from you, all right?
I'm
We
gonna
ain't
say
hiding
what I
from
gotta
you.
say.
Okay.
You make sure you around.
Now I know Marley gotta get to this bump, but I'm gonna get off what I gotta get off.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Fix your tie. And fix the microphone. Fix the microphone.
I'm not doing anything. Matter of fact, I might take off my top.
All right. America, pray for me. This Sunday, it's the Pats versus the Saints. Both teams are 1-1, but Saints fans must be wondering, are they going to get the Jameis from the Packers game, who threw 5 touchdowns, or Jameis versus the Panthers, who had no touchdowns and 2 picks? Bill Belichick is preparing for the former.
He's a really good quarterback. He threw for 5,000 yards in Tampa, so it's not like this guy hasn't been productive. He's big, he's strong, he's accurate, he's got a good touch on the ball. The offense that he ran in Tampa is a lot different than the offense he's running in New Orleans. But I think fundamentally this is a big, strong guy that can throw the ball accurately. He's very good down the field. He's a tough guy to tackle. He's strong in the pocket. Can make every throw on the field. I mean, he's pretty good.
Belichick in midseason form. You see that, Dan? The guns out and everything. He's ready to go.
Man, he takes care of his body, right? No weights, no dates.
Exactly.
Alrighty then.
Dan, I never heard that one. No weights, no
weights,
dates.
no dates, yeah.
I'm going to start
It's a way to
using
live, Miles.
I actually do get in the weight room, even though it doesn't look like it. All right, Dan, was week 1 with Jameis a fluke?
No, I don't think it was a fluke. Jameis is probably going to be likely between the player that was week 1 and week 2. Now, week 1, everyone was saying, well, MVP of the NFL. He played well. He made good decisions with the football. He wasn't tasked to do a lot. He made some plays with his feet, which was really nice. He never put the ball in harm's way. That was great. And then last week, he didn't play as bad as 11 for 22 for 111 yards and 2 picks. One of those picks, what everyone kind of made the meme of on the internet, was him falling down, and it was 3rd and 10 from like the 40-yard line with 23 seconds to go in the first half. It's basically a Hail Mary. So I'm not like judging Jameis and going, well, that was a terrible decision. He's not going to be a guy that we seriously believe is going to be an MVP candidate, and I don't think he's going to be the guy that did not produce in week 2 of this season. Their offensive line was absolutely abused by Carolina. Abused. No quarterback was going to go and be able to operate well because, I mean, if you go to the Carolina game, Stephen A., the Panthers run the same blitz at the end of the first half 3 times in a row. The same blitz 3 times in a row. New Orleans doesn't block it a single time. So, like, I'm going to give Jameis a little bit of a pass from week 2 in his performance and really blame everybody associated with that offense. Jameis, I think, will be fine. It's a huge challenge going to New England. He's not going to be MVP of the NFL, but he's not going to be a guy that's a disaster in New Orleans.
It was a fluke. Somebody got to say it. It was a fluke. Okay? And you know why it was a fluke? Because he threw 0 interceptions. That's why it was a fluke. We all know who we talking about here. I mean, see, this is what bothers me. I got to end up being a bad guy just because somebody got to tell the truth. I mean, just stop it. I mean, where is Marcus Spears? Where he hiding at?
Marcus called him MVP.
Listen, he called him MVP. That's right. I saw it. Not only did he come on, he went on NFL Live. I told you I'm watching y'all. The man went on NFL Live talking about he's MVP. That's what he said about Jameis Winston. That's what he said about Jameis Winston, all right? But I want to give the NFL Live crew love because they deserve it. Here's the deal. That's not true. It's not true, all right? Now, don't get me wrong. Jameis Winston is not as bad as he looked last week because, like Dan Orlovsky said, that wasn't their fault. I mean, Carolina's got 10 sacks on the season in the first 2 games. They abused New Orleans' offensive line. We get all of that. We understand it. Michael Thomas is not there. Let's throw that into consideration. Alvin Kamara hasn't looked the same. He only got like 88 yards rushing or something like that in the first 2 games. Now, I don't know what the hell Jameis Winston was thinking there throwing it with his left hand, just trying to throw it away before getting sacked. That's a different story for another day. My point to y'all is this. When you think about Jameis Winston, if you want to know whether something is fluky or not, all you have to do is look at the interceptions. If it says 0, it's a fluke. It's really it's not that complicated.
It's actually not fair for you to do this. It's not fair. It's not fair because we have both ends of the spectrum.
Okay.
Give us the week 3 to break the tie, and then we can decide. It's too early.
Fine, but you didn't ask me in week 3. You asked me before week 3.
Yeah.
Is it week 3 yet? I don't think it's week 3 yet. Week 3 started tonight. But the point is that they ain't played a 3rd game yet. All I got to go on is the first 2 weeks of evidence, and all I'm saying is, after what they were saying about him for week 1, it's not that fluke is a bad thing. Like, oh my God, Jameis Winston's not a starter.
It's a compliment?
He can't play. No. What I'm saying is what they were saying about him, the hyperbole everybody engaged in about him in week 1. It's not consistent. And oh, by the way, just so you know, Molly, as I sit here, and it's not bad, but I just want to remind you.
Okay.
I got his thumbs here.
Don't go last year. Don't give me last year because I don't want to hear it.
15 interceptions, 18, 11, 14, of course the 30.
Yeah. I don't live in the past. Only these 2 games.
All I'm trying to say is when you see 0 interceptions with Jameis Winston, that's fluky. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Stephen,
that's all I'm saying.
I'm not trying to be like Messi Fessi and a bad teammate over here and clowning on Marcus for the MVP conference. I know what Marcus is. Marcus is a believer in Jameis. If Jameis can go almost every other game, pick, no pick, pick, no pick, pick, that's going to be progress for him. And again, I did not watch week 1 and go, Jameis is playing like the number 1 pick. He's playing like an absolute difference maker. I just thought he valued the football well, but I'm not going to kill him just like I didn't praise him. But you're saying if he doesn't throw a pick, that's a fluke. I think because of the situation, we got to give him a little bit more time in New Orleans to see if he can actually value the football rather than give it away. I agree. The interception aspect is a thing. It's the only thing that really matters in this conversation with him. But I'm not going to. I think the 2 in week 2 were a little bit different.
Jameis Winston is a good quarterback that has the potential to be great. I'm not knocking that.
Yeah.
But People came on the show talking MVP candidate and all
Yeah.
that other stuff. We gonna kill that noise.
I'm
He's a
with
good
you.
quarterback
Yeah.
with an upside
No,
who
that's
deserves
fair.
to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints.
I will
Fair
say
enough.
this, the Packers, it was like a preseason game for them. They were clearly a little bit rusty. And one thing that is a little curious to your point, Stephen A., he had 5 touchdowns, but only 148 yards. So you'd expect more yards.
Oh, now you bring that up. But when I brought that up in week
I'm-
one, Molly was like this. Why are you hating on him, Stephen A? Why are you hating on him?
I also
Why are you hating
think-
on him?
I
I brought it
actually-
up, but
I
now you can
actually
bring it
don't
up and it's
sound
no
like
problem.
that.
But he's
That's
also
okay.
going to play against a team this weekend that got 4 bingos last week. So if he goes out and values the football, then again, I think it's a little bit of in between.
Yeah.
He ain't not the guy that was a killer
Exactly.
in week 1
I need
or
to see
disaster
week 3.
week 2.
I'm,
You know
I'm
what,
with
Dan?
you, Dan. Give me one more week. We got to go to break.
You know what, Dan? If I go to Hair Club for Men, I'll have an afro.
Oh my!
Okay.
You know, it's
Let's
not
make
a
it-
hair
let's
club
make
for
it-
men.
like
There's so
Michael
many
Irvin's?
Let's make it.
Okay, Dak and the boys.
Elvis.
I can't take all of you guys. Have been clicking on all Did you hear me? Dak and the boys have been clicking on all cylinders. Did you hear me, Stephen A?
Whatever.
All cylinders.
Whatever.
Is it about time
Whatever.
you give Dallas some props? Because you've had some suspect predictions thus far through 2 weeks.
I've had
and
some pretty damn good
it's
ones,
my job to hold you
I had some
accountable.
pretty damn good one too. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
I reckon you might have a point there. I'll consider it during the commercial break.
And always do what's best for the team. But I can tell you up front, we would love to get Ben back. And if we can, we're going to try to do that. The one thing we did do last year was we gave him the ball. We put the ball in Ben Simmons' hands, and he led our team. He led it to the best team in the East in the regular season and 1 game away from the Eastern Finals. We can win a title with Ben. I just believe that. You know, Ben has a long contract. So it's in our hands, and we want him back.
Listen, on First Take, we love talking NFL, but we also love talking some NBA and having Jay Williams here with us. Good to see you, sir. Tell me
By the
this.
way, we're going to be talking a lot more NBA from now on. This is the best season. This is the best season in the NBA in the last 25. I haven't looked this forward to an NBA
For
season in 25 years.
sure. Please, everyone stay healthy, please.
That's right.
Yes.
Please. Where does Philly go from here, Jay?
Well, this is where it's going to get interesting. Some could say, well, Philly is put in the corner. They should make a trade. But if you're getting pennies on the dollar, there's a lot of egos at stake here, Stephen A. And when there are egos at stake, when Ben Simmons and his crew come out with a statement saying, we're not going to play this season, and I don't expect to ever wear a jersey again, it makes me wonder what Daryl Morey's going to do. Because if he decides to stick his foot and dig his feet in the sand, then you could have a situation where if I'm Philly, I can't get the value I want in return for you because they tried to get that value during the NBA draft, then fine. We're not going to pay you. Sit. Take us to arbitration in a couple of years. You know, he's owed a huge lump sum of money.
Couple of months.
Couple of months. Whatever the time is.
A month.
Fine.
He's due 50% of his salary
That's
by
right.
November 2nd.
All right, so take us to arbitration.
Right.
Let's figure it out. Because if I can't get the return value for you that I expect to get for somebody like you, then we'll figure it out after that.
Here's the deal. Before I even go any further, first of all, thank you for being on the show. I stole you from the hallway because you usually suited down. You're not today, but that's right. I'm going to forgive you for that because I stole you in the hallway. You didn't know you was going to be on today. Because I had to get I wanted you in here because I wanted your thoughts about the Doc Rivers interview yesterday and what your feelings are because Ben Simmons has said, I will never play for the Philadelphia 76ers again. And the 76ers are saying, we want him back. He's still got 4 years, $146.6 million left on his deal. This is not James Harden. This is not Anthony Davis approaching the last year of their deals. He's got 4 years. Where do you stand on all of this in regards to this situation?
I would always advise Ben Simmons to go back. I think it can increase his value. I think he could then find a chance to go to another team. But from what I'm hearing, Stephen A., is that it's interesting with Ben. Because it almost feels like Doc had to say that by default. Now, I know Doc, personally. I firmly do believe that Doc does believe he can win a championship with Ben Simmons. But when you try to make a trade for James Harden, I don't think anybody in the reasonable mind would say that's not a fair trade, even if you're Ben Simmons. James Harden's here, Ben Simmons is here, I think. But when there aren't available pieces, like Bradley Beal isn't going anywhere. He's going to stay in D.C. for the foremost time. Damian Lillard wants to stay in Portland, because now he's Chauncey Billups. So what is that upgrade? It feels like Philadelphia's stuck.
But do you believe Ben Simmons is justified in feeling what he feels?
I don't know how exactly Ben Simmons feels. I do know that he doesn't I don't think he likes that relationship with Joel Embiid.
That's true.
I think there are major issues right there, and Joel Embiid trying to extend the olive branch to him. At the end, I think it was just something that he's just like, whatever, I don't really care. I'm over that. I don't think he knows that he will not get the kind of fan love and attention that he wants in Philadelphia. I think he's fed up. I think he's done.
Let me tell you what I feel. And I got some stuff that I want to say here. Number one, I think that Ben Simmons is wrong. I don't think that Philadelphia's hands are clean in this either, though.
The way he's handling it, or he's just wrong in general?
I think he's wrong, period. Joel Embiid was there with you for years before you signed your contract extension. So you knew what you were signing on for. Don't sit up there and a year later after you wet the bed in the postseason because you scared to shoot. All of a sudden the finger is being pointed at everybody else. Now, he might say, I love the city of Philadelphia. I love the fans. Well, guess what? Part of the reason you don't want to go back is because the vitriol that you're feeling on the part of the fan base is something you don't appear strong enough to handle. That's a heart issue to me. That's a heart issue because as a person that reported in Philadelphia for 17 years, I will come to the defense of that city all day, every day in this one regard. They will give you love if you earn it, and they will hold you accountable if you don't. They're very fair-minded in that regard, and I will defend that city to the nth degree in that regard. So in that regard, he is wrong. Now, Doc Rivers came on the air yesterday, and he was talking. I brought up what he said about Ben Simmons not necessarily being that championship point guard. He doesn't know how he answered it immediately after the game, and he went on and he explained himself. He has to understand. What he explained was not what he said the day after, the night of that other loss. And everybody knows it's not consistent with what he said, regardless of what his explanation is, even though I totally believe that he wants Ben Simmons to stay. Having said all of that, you did try to trade, and this is where Ben Simmons, we got to come to his defense. They tried to trade him to Houston last year. They were on the verge, Molly. Yeah. They had James Harden. That's when Brooklyn stepped in at the 11th hour and 59th minute and offered the house to get James Harden to Brooklyn because Daryl Morey was about to get him to Philadelphia. Ben Simmons was knew he was going. He even received a call, them saying, yo, you about to go to Houston. And Ben Simmons had no problem with it whatsoever. He had no problem leaving to go to Houston. So when Rich Paul or anybody in Ben Simmons' camp says he wants to go anywhere but Philly, it's consistent with what I'm hearing because numerous teams have shown an interest and he has said no to anyone. Yeah. So we got to pay attention to that as well. Now what they're going to do is this. You can find him because I challenge him on that. You ain't showing up, I wouldn't give him a dime. Then I would sit here and I'd keep my eyes on Portland. Not just because of C.J. McCollum, Robert Covington, a couple of first-round picks, because that's what they were willing to offer, even though Neil O'Shea don't want to say that. That's what they were willing to offer Philly. But here's what I would keep my eyes on. Damian Lillard is chilling right now. He wants to give Chauncey Billups an opportunity and the organization to see what direction we're going in. By around December, late December, early January, we'll know. And at that particular moment in time, if things ain't right in Portland, even though Damian Lillard would prefer to be in New York with the Knicks because he want to be at the Garden, not Barclays Center. Yeah. In the end, would he sign off on going to Philly? I think there's a chance. I'm not saying he will, but I think there's a chance he will. I really do.
That's why I don't pay. That's why if you're Daryl Morey, you're in a position of power. Just wait. Wait, everybody says you don't have the leverage because you're going to get pennies on the dollar for it. Take me to arbitration. I'm not going to pay you. We're going to sit here and wait. Eventually, we're going to find a disgruntled employee.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. Obviously, this is going to have major implications on the association. We'll keep you up to speed on all of it as we hear more. Sunday, it's the debut of Justin Fields, the starter, as he takes on Baker and company. Someone is about to sound off on Matt Nagy. What took him so long? Jay, thank you for being with us. Plus, it's the best trio in sports. Mahomes, Tyreek, Kelsey. Did they have a chance to be more special than the triplets, Aikman, Irvin, Emmett, when it's all said and done? Don't go anywhere and don't miss that.